so we're here in the real Holy Land, and this is another one because people are still speculative on the channel. Um, like I said, the Book of Mormon clearly tells you that once the Gentiles have rejected the fullness of the gospel, he will take the fullness of the gospel away from the Gentiles and give it back to his people. And we just want you to understand this. So, this is the Dead Sea. All right. And it used to be bigger, you can clearly see. And this is still the largest fresh inland saltwater body of water in North America. Then you got the Jordan River. Then you got the Sea of Galilee, which is Utah Lake. And this is all natural. All right. It's not like the Middle East where they dammed it and made it fit the description. Look that up. Chief Moray. Now, when you go into closer, I'm having trouble seeing it, you will see the Jordan River is actually here, which flows from the lake to the Salt Lake like the scriptures describe. And right here, you have what will be known as the Mount of Olives, right? And on the other side of the Mount of Olives, you would have the Valley of Decision. Now, God said he would split these mountains and make one go one way and one go the other way. And they even call it Rush Valley. Doesn't the Bible say that these nations would come here and make a rushing, like the rushing of many waters, and he will rebuke them? And this is the judgment. This is the Valley of Jehoshaphat right here. The Valley of King Jehoshaphat right here. And look, they even put it in your face. Like they call this Victory Mountain. And if you pay attention, Red Dead Redemption it's basically this location as Judgment Valley in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, like the makers of these games and the people that put this out, they know the truth. These big corporations, they do witchcraft when they put the truth in front of you. Because, like they literally have to, as satanic believers and worshipers and people in the ways of the world, they have to put the truth in front of you. So they do, but it's subtle. And if you're not woke, thank God he sent the Spirit to me and I can discern the truth now. You'll never see these things coming. So, if that's the Salt Lake, this is the River Jordan, you feel me? Then what is Salt Lake City? It's Jerusalem, guys. Simple and plain. Jerusalem. Now, a lot of people that read the Book of Mormon would believe that this is a new Jerusalem, but this is ancient Jerusalem here. And let me show you guys, because this spot, California used to be basically an island. There used to be a giant inland sea here, and they used to cut California off. It used to be an island. So it started really where the Gulf of Mexico is, and they kind of dammed and restricted this and stopped these areas from being wet when they would be dry. They kind of created deserts where all their damming and messing up the waterways. And then God kind of punished Egypt, so a lot of the land was dried up anyway. So they just came and, did what they did. And now it's not an island no more, but this would be an island. And there's fears of California flooding and becoming an island again. And it's resurfacing because of all the recent flooding, which is the judgment of God. But when you look at this, you can clearly see this is the Gulf of California here, right? And the Gulf of California is actually the Red Sea, right? And we know that from UBTV, like I said, Chief Moray, great educators, because you really got to they got to humble themselves and listen to basic people. Now, Chief Moray doesn't believe in kind of like the whole Jesus narrative, but I do. But, we all going to find out what's true or not. And I'm sure if he finds out that what we're saying is true, he won't have no problem, like, getting corrected. Because some people don't like to be corrected. And they don't care. That's why the whole world can't appreciate the promised land for what it is. Now, they probably crossed somewhere up here. by Baja California. And then they said they went to Elam, and that's Palm Springs, California, because if you read the Exodus, you'll hear about all that stuff. And now, if you believe the Book of Mormon, then you know that Nephi and his family had camped around the Red Sea, and they called this land the land of bountiful. All right. Now, who knows? That could have been anywhere in this area between where it says California on this map to Las Vegas to San Francisco. Could have been anywhere, because remember, this used to be an island. California used to be an island. Who knows if it was in Lehi's time when his family made this trek into the wilderness. But if you look at this map of America, you can clearly see. So if they sailed somewhere, right? And these niggas sailed somewhere and ended up on an island of the sea at the end of that Book of Mormon when you read it, right? And it says how they built a temple that was like a temple of David, right? And if you go to Lahi Hawaii, which is Lehi, there's a temple that is just like a temple of David. They even said that they didn't build it of so many precious things because they weren't available on the island. And then we know that the Polynesians and the real indigenous people of Hawaii are black people. When you look at the person they kidnapped, the queen they kidnapped, the princess they kidnapped from here. Same MO as Pocahontas, kidnapped the princess and shit. Came here terrorizing people. This is probably the last Hebrew kingdom, and you'll notice I make a video about this. There's videos about this on my channel. This is deep research, but most people can't appreciate it because they're so brainwashed with the church things, and they don't have that drive to look deeper and get esoteric knowledge. But I'm saying that there's no way that these people and Joseph Smith is telling people to build a replica of the Temple of Solomon on an island out here. And then why did they just invade Hawaii? Just because black indigenous Hebrew is my people. That's really what's going on here. And it's like, damn, we really just got robbed in Devo with all nice shit. Now, you can find photos of black indigenous Hawaiians. You can, but you can't find no relative history linking them because the history's been absorbed by these hijacks that claim to be indigenous people of America, when we know that the original definition of America stood for the various copper-colored tribes which were present in North America. Now, if you're a Mormon and you really search this out and you look at Deuteronomy chapter 34, it'll bring you right here to Utah again. Sorry, I'm in Australia and shit. A little confused here. You gotta dodge the hijack with the balls and the globes. There's no curved water. That's why you can't make a functioning globe model with functioning water, because water don't stick to both globes. Let me not get ahead of myself. So when you zoom in here, you can see there's a Mount Nebo, there's a Mount Pisgah, and there's a Moab, Utah. Now, if you read Deuteronomy chapter 34, you type in all these locations, they'll pop up all in here. All right? They will pop up. And when they do pop up, the ones that don't are ghost towns. You gotta type them in Google, and it'll tell you these are ghost towns that this and that, or the war destroyed them, or whatever. And there was many wars and conflicts over this land, including the Crusades, and all the history you think is assigned to Europe over there is actually over here. Watch my Washington D.C. video on my channel if you want to know where ancient Rome actually is and the real connections there. A lot of times I'm just explaining stuff and reading off scripts because it's easier to present information like that. Now, there's an area here called Alright, this is Pleasant Grove, Utah, right? And I done put this together. This is Bethlehem. And it's Bethlehem for a couple reasons. When you look into the history of North America, right? And you hear about the road to Hebron, right? And there's a road here that leads through the valley to Hebron, right? And then in between that, they had dug pools, which were the pools of Bethlehem. Now, these are supposed to be three separate pools, but in modern times, they done combine the pools, right? And the aqueduct carries this water from here to Jerusalem, which in this case is Salt Lake City, right? Now, when you look into this history, they don't tell you anything about the relevant history of this. They really can't, because they'd be telling you the truth. Now, I also have a video where I discussed that Salt Lake City is Jerusalem. And I'm not saying all of Salt Lake City, like when you see those little townhouses and rancher houses, obviously that wasn't built in ancient times. But when you start to get into Salt Lake City, you got the real temple, which the Salt Lake Temple is the second temple, which was built out of stone. And it had cedar beams supporting the ceiling. And they even tell you the cedar beams came from California and Oregon. And guys, that's actually Lebanon. And you know that because that has the tallest cedar trees on the planet. Now, people will say that these are redwoods and all this dumb shit. Listen, trust me, I have done decking. They don't call cedar wood redwood. They call it red cedar. All right, and they're scientifically the same species. Like you can't. We have, and the rings of trees don't lie. That's actually Lebanon down there. So we have the biggest trees on the earth, and then California actually has the oldest tree on earth, the oldest non-clone organism on earth, which is called Methuselah. So trees don't lie, and Methuselah is a pine tree. And if trees don't lie, men do. You ever hear that passage from the Bible? I think it's Romans. It says like, every man is a liar, and God told the truth. It goes something like that. That's exactly what this is. Every man is a liar, and thank God for mercy and wisdom, because we would all be lost in this world. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Peace and love, fam.